Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And I have to talk about this moving scam and ripoff. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You know it's Exit California. But what happens? You get a contract. They come to pick your stuff up. All of a sudden, your contract is not a contract, it's an estimate. And I'm going to talk about it today. And I'm going to name the company. That's right. You know how we do it here in the SSN Nation. And welcome to Foci Optics. Check. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to thank you so much for being here on the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. And please share the videos, because you never know who you're helping. It could be just one other person, it could be 10 other people, it could be thousands of other people. But in this environment, Stop Struggling Now is a must. And I want to always point out the join button over here on the right hand side. That's how you can support the channel, by becoming a member of the channel. You know, the people when we run live streams that have the icon next to their name, that means they have joined and used that join button. And that also means under the community tab, they receive special messages specifically for them. That also means on the Wednesday night live streams, only members with the icon can be in the chat room. And that means they receive special videos, 1 or 2 videos per month specifically for them, along with those messages specifically for them as well under the community tab. And they can join me on any live stream if they want to, because the link to join on a live stream directly with me is under the community tab for the members only. Now, let's get into this Exit California, scam moving companies, scam brokers, and a lot of people don't know anything about that. It's a broker, dispatch, extra movers, different movers, the real movers. So we're going to talk about it today. I'm going to go over this real briefly. Here it is. And here's the actual contract. All right. Now, there's a play on words. Final Destination Moving and Storage. It would appear that they are a moving company. But as it turns out, they are nothing more than a broker. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. So you're thinking that they're the actual moving company, and they send you over a binding moving estimate that you can see here at the top of the page. And it looks like it's legitimate. But when you're on the phone with a person like Lloyd Wiles, the problem is they call this a contract. And so in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this is not an estimate, it's a contract. Okay, so you get this over here, relocation, you see an estimate, $11,500. I have to put down $3,893.97. 1/3 roughly of the payment you give up front, and you send it to Final Destination, as far as we know. Now, here's the thing. You start looking through this contract while they have you on the phone. They're sending you this, doing high pressure tactics. A lot of you may be moving from west coast to east, east to west, north, south, whatever, but do not use the brokers. I didn't know any better. I fell for it. I thought I called one place seeking help. Next thing I know, I got tons of phone calls from a whole bunch of moving companies. At least I thought they were moving companies. As it turns out, they're nothing more than middlemen. They're nothing more than brokers. But I didn't know that when I initially started this search for moving from Cali to Florida, the Exit Cali plan. So it appears that this estimate includes all this stuff: door-to-door service, expert advice and guidance, wrapping of all furniture, moving blankets, itemized deduction, loading and unloading, all transportation goods, taxes, tolls, mileage, and fuel surcharges. All looks all good. No elevator charges, no charge for packing tape and moving pads. That's all nice when you're a broker. That's all very nice. But look at here. Look at here. Very important. If you add items at pickup, or the items are different volume and or weight from what is estimated on this agreement, the mover must provide you with the revised estimate. Excuse me? Meanwhile, keep in mind, they have you on the phone because they can't release you off the phone, and somehow you're supposed to agree with all of this. Most people will not take you. If you hang up the phone, they say, well, that price is no good. So that leads people to stay on the phone, not really pay attention to the contract. In this case, I was one of these fools too. I did the same thing. He had me on the phone. He goes, Eric, man, this is going to be a great deal for you. A truck is moving out of Santa Rosa, California. It's got to come back to Florida. So therefore, we found the deal for you. That is what they all said, by the way. Once they found out I was moving, no matter who called me, they all said, oh, we have a truck in California. That's good for you. We can give you a great price. So therefore, it's back on the way to Florida. So it works out great for us. All said the same thing. No deviation. But the mover must provide you with the revised estimate. Contact our office. Okay, great. So what happens? The simplest thing of all happens. I agree with this. So I have to send them that $38.93, which I do send them the $38.93. And the thing is, he gives me a caveat. He says, because you're doing it today, that if there's another quote, because I told him I was hesitant to do it because I was getting other quotes, and other quotes would be cheaper than theirs because I didn't know yet. And I would just don't want to do it. And he goes, don't worry, 2 days, you have 2 days after you sign this, I'll allow you to send in quotes. And if there's lower prices, I'll honor those prices. I say, oh, cool. All is good. All right. As far as the talk is cheap. It's all good the way I looked at it. Now, I'm scrolling down through here because all this is reading, but I want to get down here to this because yes, 75 items, 302 pieces of furniture. Yes, I know, ladies and gentlemen, I probably have a furniture problem. Yes, I get it. How many people have like 100 items in their house of furniture, right? Or more. I do. Okay. So anyhow, this is the list that they're going by. So when the real movers show up, they go by this list and they knock it out. The cubic feet is figured out on the computer, and the computer designates how much cubic feet, like an armoire small has X amount of cubic feet in the background. That's how they determine 20, I believe this was 2,200 cubic feet, if I'm not mistaken. 2237, I think, something like that. 2242 cubic feet. So that doesn't mean anything to me, probably not to a lot of people listening to this, because who knows about cubic feet? We know about square feet. So if somebody tells me, Eric, that's 2,000 square feet, at least I can go, okay, how wide is the trailer? If the trailer's 10 feet wide, then I know 2,000, we're going to need 200 feet long, right? So no trailer is 200 feet long. So we know there's going to be a problem if it was square footage. We don't know what cubic feet converts to square foot, right? That's why they use that. So moving day was scheduled to be the 13th to the 14th. I do the ACH for the $38.93. Let's call it $3,900. Guess what happens? Because I made those phone calls, other moving companies were sending me estimates, or contracts as they call it. And what happens? Contract for about $400 or $500 more, because this contract did not include my motorcycle to go. The motorcycle to go would have been another $600. So basically I'm at 12,100. I could add the motorcycle later, but it was $600. So I'm going to be at 12,150 bucks or whatever. So now I have other people saying nearly the same price, but they're going to take my motorcycle with it. So it's going to be under 12,000. So I send Lloyd Wiles, I send him the same estimate. They all use the same one from another company. The first one he sends back, he says something to the nature of, well, see, go to Google and look at their reviews, and you'll see that they have some bad reviews. Well, I go to Google, I look at the reviews. Yes, that company has good and bad reviews. But at the same time, I said, wait a minute, let me go look at their reviews. And the same thing, good and bad reviews. Now, a lot of people are moving. Some people are going to be upset when their stuff is broken. Some people are going to be upset when some change or something, didn't happen. I didn't really understand why there was, negatives and positives, but there should have been a whole bunch of positives with a few negatives, but it seemed like every moving company has the same thing. But again, they're not moving companies. They are brokers. That is a very big distinction, okay? So now what happens? I send him a second one. This one, instead of him saying go to the Google reviews, he goes, oh, go to their BBB. They have a bad rating, so we're not going to honor that quote either. So they didn't want to honor either quote. So then I said, wait a minute. Let me check out your BBB. I said, wait, your BBB is just as bad as him. You're not rated, but you have 5 or 6 negative things too. I was like, hold on, I don't think I want to do business with you. And so what I do is, since it's an ACH, I'm able to cancel that transaction because he lied and said he was going to honor cheaper estimates, and I send him over 2, and now he's sending me to 2 other places, and he doesn't want to honor them. So then I said, F that. I canceled that. Yes, we're getting down to the wire because I'm trying to move out the 13th. It's around the 5th or the 6th. I don't know what day of the month it was. But anyhow, so now I have to start all over. And there was a person that called me. And so another company I go with. And this one is Imperial Storage, Freight Lines. So I'm thinking, okay, Imperial Freight Lines. I like that a little better. I'm thinking they're going to bring the 53-footer, roll out, all's good. This person, Steve Mitchell, calls me. You know what he says? Hey, man, there's a truck out there in California. It's going to be perfect. It's coming back to Florida. So I'm going to have a great deal for you. Okay, I think I've heard that before. So anyhow, Steve Mitchell from Imperial Freight Lines. We talk. We go through the house again. Step by step, going over all the items in the house. He comes out with 2,375 cubic feet. He comes with the smaller price of 11,363, just slightly smaller. This is one of the quotes that I sent over to Final Destination that they didn't want to honor. And packing materials cost additional $120, so it's not included in the estimate even. All right. So again, this is just the same thing. They're on the phone. They use the same terminology. Yeah, we got you a contract. Nothing's going to change. All's going to be good, except in this contract, again, we're going to point out if it is the same type. I think it is. Well, in this one, it doesn't actually say it. I can't find it. But they're not the real movers either. So after we go through the house, it appears that I have more pieces because it gave me more boxes. So now we're at 402 pieces because now they added in about another 100 boxes. All right. Now, notice, let's see on this one. I'm trying to see if they added my motorcycle in. Yes, motorcycle right here. So this one's included the motorcycle. So therefore, The extras, they're well less than $1,200. It's perfectly good with me. Packing materials included. Everything looks like a go. They're different than Final Destination according to them. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna take care of you. All is good. Well, we're set up now. I have to pay $1,574 for this deposit to this company. All right? Now, the real movers come to the house. The real mover goes to my garage. He sees in the garage the heater, 4 or 5 pictures, motorcycle, 3 umbrellas, and some boxes, bins, plastic bins, all on the list. Goes to our first bedroom that only has like an armoire, has a table, has 2 end tables and another table. There's no bed in the bedroom. That's all that's in there. And a few plastic little bins on rollers. All on the list. Goes to the living room. Wingback chairs, sofa, love seat, settee, some end tables, pictures. All on the list. He says in the living room, the third spot we stop at, oh, this might cost you more. I'm like, what do you mean? They're all on the list. Okay, that's an interesting statement. We get to the dining room area. Dining room table, 8 chairs, a hutch, all on the list. But then he declares, oh yeah, this is gonna cost more. I'm like, wait, all this is on the list. What are you talking about? So I sit down, he walks around the house. I said, go walk around the house, man, and let me know what you're talking about. He comes back from walking around and he says, this is gonna cost you $5,000 more. Now remind you, this is on the day of the move. I have this so-called contract, which clearly is now an estimate in real life, even though the guys on the phone are calling it a contract. And this guy, the real mover, is saying $5,000 more. He would not budge on this, and I said, hey, wait a minute. So what do? I pick up the phone. And I try to reach Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller doesn't want to answer the phone this day. No. Stephen Miller's nowhere to be found on his phone number. So now I call this 855 number seeking Stephen Miller and his BS. And now I'm listening to another representative say they can't reach Stephen Miller, but there is nothing they can do. What about my $1,600 I sent you? That's non-refundable, because if you don't take the load, if you tell them to leave, then it's non-refundable because you didn't accept service. I was like, accept service? That's $5,000 more than what our contract says, estimate says. And then the guy proceeds to now call it an estimate. I'm like, oh my God, they're scamming people out here. West Coast, East Coast, North, South, East, West, wherever you're moving to, these are scammers. Imperial Freight Lines, Final Destination. All these brokers are the same. They have no trucks, no trailers, no vehicles, no nothing, and they're assigning these estimates to other trucking companies. Now, I'll give you a little backstory. The truck that pulls up, when I pull up, is 40-footer. I get out the truck before the guy comes in from Imperial, well, it's not Imperial Freight Lines, but the actual real movers. Before he comes in, I seize him and I say, hey man, your truck's not big enough. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, your truck should be like a 53-footer because this is gonna be about 50 feet. So what are you talking about? Right then and there, I should have known things were gonna get wiggy. So when he comes inside, all of a sudden, things get real crazy. $5,000 more. Now, after he says that and I say, hey man, that ain't gonna work. I'm on the phone with Steve Mitchell and, well, no Steve Mitchell in sight, on the phone with customer service. Customer service proceeds to tell me, you're not gonna get your money back if you cancel these guys. I say, I'm gonna deal with that later, but I'm not gonna pay $5,000 more. So I tell the dude to leave. The dude then proceeds to go round number 2. and says, I'll tell you what, I'll make it $13,000. I'll take part of your stuff with me, put it in a warehouse. I'm like, what? What did you just say? In a warehouse? No, you're supposed to have been going from California to Florida. Now you're saying you're going to take the stuff and put in a warehouse to begin with? He's like, yeah, we take it in the warehouse and then we measure it and then we take it from there. I was like, so you never were going from California to Florida in the first place? He's like, no. Now I'm finding out a whole bunch of other nonsense, right? I'm like, this can't be happening. So anyhow, I tell him, hell no, you're not taking part of my furniture that you think is 2375 cubic feet so you can go hold it hostage in some warehouse, who knows where. I said, this is absurd. Who would do that? So needless to say, I tell him, hey man, you need to leave my house. You need to go. He's like, yeah, but you signed this contract so we can pick up your stuff. You're not picking up nothing today. No, it's canceled. You know you don't get your deposit back. That's what they say. We'll find out about that later, but I know you're not taking my stuff because I know if you take it, it's going to be held hostage. He's like, oh, we don't do that. I'm like, dude, hold on. Now I find out this is not a contract. Now I find out your truck was not in the state of Florida, California already. So they're lied. He didn't match the quotes that these other guys didn't match quotes. That's how I ended up with these guys. Now these guys' estimate is not the estimate. So I'm sorry. Any words coming out of your mouth at this point is bullshit. So you can leave. So anyhow, I go back to my office to get on the phone. So I thought dude left. So I'm on trying to reach these guys on customer service, Steve Mitchell, running around, doing whatever I got to do, call my bank saying, hey, you got to put a stop on this, whatever it is. All this is going on. This takes 30, 45 minutes. I come out of my office, go outside to make sure everything's all tidy. Dude is still at my house. Still trying to get me to go with some BS deal. Hey man, I told you we can come to a resolution here. 13,000. I'll take part of the load. Once we get it there, we'll determine how much it's really going to be. We can come get the rest. I said, you're not getting nothing. Just leave before we have a problem out here. He wouldn't leave. I said, and in fact, even if you honored the price, the right price, you are not taking my stuff at this point. But since you're not honoring the price, it doesn't even matter, period. So leave. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The exit moving scam. The mover scam is alive and well, and this is what you get in a third world country. This is what you are gonna get in America from this day forward. Any business that you do, any contracts that you sign, they're gonna be almost worth less. People are not going to be honoring these things because why? It costs you more in litigation than it will be for most contracts. Just like right here, this $1,600. It's going to cost me more to litigate to get my $1,600 back than if I just forgot about it. And they know this, and they're doing this to people every single day, hundreds of people. And when you have to move and their qualifying questions are, hey, do you have to move? Did you buy another house in the other state? All those are questions that they can now hem you up later. And the fact that they said, hey, when the guy came to my house and he starts this, you have to move. I said, I'll move when I feel like it. But you're not going to move me. So what I have to do, no exit California. I just basically just said, well, looks like I got to pay somebody to put stuff in storage here in California. So I'm still going to Florida. But the fact of the matter is my furniture is going to stay over here until I find a reasonable company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Stop Struggling Now. This is Entrepreneur Land. This is the SSN Nation. And if you listen this long, you might know what's coming next. Because once I found out that people are charging $15,000, $18,000. A man came to my house from Allied Moving Company, one of the top moving companies. He barely even got through my living room. He started saying, $27,000, $30,000. At this point, being an entrepreneur, being a guy who's sitting there saying, wait a minute, there must be money on the table here. The only question now is, where do I get a truck? Where do I get a 53-foot trailer? And in America, I should be able to rent these. And I should be able to find drivers. And on each end, I can set up my own crew to pack and unpack. Or at these astronomical prices, I can have my same crew in one state, pack, have the driver end up wherever on the East Coast at the location, and I'll fly the 4-man crew over there and unpack it so they can see their handiwork in case they jacked up somebody's stuff because they didn't pack it right. That might be an option. But if I can charge somebody $18,000, $25,000, $30,000, $35,000, there must be plenty of room on the table for profits. So this is what happened. Accidentally, they have turned me into a real competitor, because now I have actually looked at renting trailer and I have gotten calls. I do not at this point have the information on how much it is, so I can't tell you, but they've been calling me and I've been moving over the last 5 days. Yes, it took 5 days to get all my stuff in storage. Using Craigslist, getting people to come that actually are movers, unbelievably, and I'll just tell you right now, $15 an hour. I was shocked that people weren't doing anything, and they said, you know what, I'll take the 15 an hour. And they actually have moved or worked for moving companies before. So that helped out greatly, because then they knew how to stack some things, because if they didn't, I would have had to have 3 storages. Luckily, they had a 12 by 35 storage. That's right, a 12-foot by 35-foot storage that was about 15 feet high. So I was able to stack things up. So that took a whole bunch of stuff. And then a 10 by 20 took the rest of the stuff. So that's how much stuff is in the house. It's absolutely astronomical. So again, because of being an entrepreneur, all this did was, wait a minute, I can take orders from somebody saying they need to move. I can send somebody over. I can set up a crew. That means I can undercut these guys potentially. It all depends. Either way, if people have to pay $12, $15, $18, $20, $27, $30,000 and I come in at $12, $13,000, I'm sure we're going to get some deals. And especially when we have 4 or 5-star ratings, because that's what we're going to try to be. We're going to try to make sure we break nothing. We're going to make sure we honor the price. We're going to make sure that everything is kosher. None of this middleman, none of this we show up and going to charge you more. None of that. So with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And my, oh my, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not going to be prepared for this third world situation, your grocery store shelves are empty. Go look. Gas is rising. Go look. Utilities are rising. Go look. Inflation is here. Go look. Interest rates are going to be rising and have risen. Go look. Even though the Federal Reserve did not even raise their interest rates, or the Fed fund rate. But the rates have increased if you want to buy a house. Go look. Credit card rates have increased. Go look. Your adjustable rate mortgage is about to increase in the next 30 to 90 days. Go look. All the signs are here. Stock market has been declining. Go look. Crypto declining. Go look. What's next? Housing market will decline, because now that people are going to have to pay more for the same house, because if they get their interest rates increased, the same $400,000 house is now going to cost you a little bit more money. Go look. Once again, you're going to have to make more money. And unfortunately, so are your grandkids, so are your children, so are your great great grandkids. And the day's going to come when somebody makes $200,000 a year and they're living paycheck to paycheck, and it's here. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.